Hi, this is Rebecca Coleman for The Art of the Business, and today I'm here with Caroline Freed, who is a keynote speaker, a trainer, and a coach. And today we're going to talk about how to make decisions. And specifically, we're going to talk about sometimes in life you're confronted with a decision and you don't know what to do because maybe there's a couple of things that are conflicting for you. So say, for example, as an actor, you get a gig and your gig is a touring show and it takes you out of town, which is great for your artistic career, but then it also takes you away from your family, and that's not good. So when you're overwhelmed by all the different factors, when you're trying to make a decision, how do you do that? How do you make that decision? And Caroline's going to walk us through a couple of tools today that are going to help us to go through that in a way that really helps us to make decisions based on our values. So, thanks.
You're welcome.
So can you talk about, first of all, about the prioritizing grid and what that is and what that's for and how that works?
So one of the things that happens when we try to make decisions is there are many different factors competing.
Yeah.
And when we try to think about them all at once, it's really hard to discriminate among which one matters the most, which one matters the least, how much more does this matter than this, and not only that, sometimes it's even hard to put them all in order. How do you, how do you put 10 different kinds of things in order? So the prioritizing grid is just a little simple tool that allows you to list all of the things that matter in any order at all, and then you get to compare each one with each other one. 2 things at a time. So you choose item 1 over item 2, or you choose item 1 over item 3, or you choose item 4 over item 1, and so on. And so, but these are all done separately in pairs, and then you count them and add them up, and then you will get a list of priorities. Now, at the end of the time you're doing that, if you don't think that list makes sense, you just change it. It's only a tool, but it's a way to determine which one matters the most in quite a kind of left-brained, calculated way where you don't have to have the big, huge mélange of all the different things all at once.
And I think that's one of the things that's really powerful about using a tool like this, because I know often when I'm trying to make these kinds of decisions, I'm often making those kinds of decisions with my gut or with my heart, you know, and it's emotionally, you're trying to decide, and it's very difficult. So I think what's really powerful about using these tools is that they allow you to do it in a way that's kind of very like business-like, and that's very, like you say, that's very left-brained and very like sort of it gives you kind of a it's like a managerial approach to like making these kinds of decisions.
And ultimately, you do add in the piece at the end with your heart and your gut. Right? But you do it at the end, not at the beginning, not in the middle. You just kind of see it all, and then you ask yourself, does this make sense to me? Does this feel right for me?
Which is a very important factor. So that's the last, we're putting the cart before the horse now, that's the last step. So the decision tree, how does the decision tree work?
Okay, so the decision tree takes your list, which is
We've got our priorities.
You've got them in order.
From 1 to 10?
From whatever, 1 to 10. And then you want to place a value on each one. So if your list is from 1 to 10, then obviously the value would be descending. You want to have the most points for the item that's at the top of your list. Now, you can use a variety of different point systems. You could just go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or you could say, I'm going to take 100 points, and I'm going to distribute 100 points through my whole list. Now, if you do that, you can still have items that are worth the same, right? Certain items would be worth the same, and certain items might not be. And if you like, they could all add up to 100, which makes it kind of
makes it easier.
It makes it easier to compare later. We're used to thinking about things in terms of 100. Or you could just give any number of points to each one, and they would be still in descending order. So there are various ways. Oops.
Get attacked by bees.
It's a lovely summer day. So then you do that. So then what happens is, so you create your value system. Then that goes in a column. Column 1 are your priorities. Column 2 is your values of each priority. Column 3 is your option number 1. In other words, let's say, for example, if you're deciding between, let's say you're deciding between 3 different job opportunities that are all at the same time, and you want to take one, but you're not sure, and they all have different pluses and minuses. Okay, so option one is the first choice, and the second choice, and the third choice. So you're 3 more columns, and then you take just option one, and you take your top priority. So let's say, what, for example,
I don't know, let's just say money.
Priority.
Let's say it's money.
Okay, so money is a top priority. So then you ask yourself the question: to what degree? Let's say you give 30 points to making money out of 100.
Okay.
So to what degree would you would those 30 points all be
satisfied?
Satisfied, thank you.
By that job.
By that job, yeah.
Okay.
So, maybe, and of course you don't know, some of these items you won't know.
Yeah.
So you have to guess.
But like, say, for example, one job is $500 a week, one job is $700 a week, and one job is $300 a week.
Then it's very obvious.
Then it's clear. You can be like, okay, well, so, that one, obviously, the $700 a week one is the one that's going to get the highest score.
It's going to get the highest score, and is it going to be 30 out of 30, or is it enough to make, you're going to be 25 out of 30? You decide. That's all you decide. And then
because maybe $700 a week is not enough for you.
That's right.
Maybe that's not enough money for you to live on.
Yeah. So I mean, it satisfies it to some degree, right? But what I would recommend is you go down the list. You go down the list of option one with each of the priorities. As opposed to going option one, money, option two, money, option three. But of course you do it however you want.
Yeah, okay.
Just experiment and see.
Okay.
And then of course you get a number now. For each item on your list over here, all your priorities, you get a number.
Right.
And then you add them up at the end. You get a little calculator or whatever it is, and you add up all the numbers. And you will see the difference among the 3 different options. Now, maybe the difference is so small that it doesn't help. I mean, it's only a tool, and then you again have to come back to your heart and your gut.
What's your gut saying?
Yeah. On the other hand, if there's a significant difference in your mind between option 1 and option 3, and option 1 looks way better, a bigger number than 3, then you see that is the option that seems to satisfy best the values.
And again, you make your decision based on that knowledge. Maybe you're not even going to choose option 1 because maybe it doesn't feel like the right thing to do, right? But nevertheless, I think what's powerful about it is that it allows you to really make a much more better informed choice, right? Exactly. Even if at the end of the day you still go with your gut,
absolutely.
or whatever, because sometimes we do make those kinds of decisions where you're like, you know what, all of this stuff seems to point in this direction, but my gut says.
Well, and also you're also taking the time to identify your values, and that's very important anyway. For anything, any kind of decisions that you might want to make. So just appreciating that these are the things that I consider to be important in and of itself is a good exercise.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. And
pleasure.
I'm going to attach we have templates for both of those documents, and I will attach those into the body of this blog post so that you can download them and you can use these tools for yourself.